We continue learning workbook page 203 with this problem.
Find the domain of the function f of x equals log base 4 of the argument square root of the difference 5x minus 8. Okay, so we finally started to get a mix of the different 4 steps. Up until this point, all of the problems have involved step 1 and just one of the other 3 steps. This one involves 2, which makes it a little longer and a little harder. All right, so we go through the steps together. Step 1, start with all real numbers. Great. Step 2, even index radicand greater than or equal to 0. This is a square root. The index is 2, which is an even number. So the radicand, 5x minus 8, has to be greater than or equal to 0. Add 8 to both sides. We get 5x is greater than or equal to 8. So divide by 5 on both sides. We get x is greater than or equal to 8/5, which, as an interval, would look like this. Bracket 8/5, comma, infinity. All right, that was step 2. Step 3, log argument greater than 0. Well, we do have a log argument. We indicate log arguments with a red circle. This right here is our log argument. So what that tells me is that in step 3, the square root of 5x subtract 8 has to be greater than 0. Now, the only way you're going to get a result greater than 0 when you take a square root is if the thing underneath it is greater than 0. So this gives me that 5x minus 8 must be greater than 0. And then, adding 8 to both sides, I get 5x must be greater than 8. And then dividing by 5 on both sides, I get x has to be greater than 8/5. Notice how very similar these results are. This one says that x has to be greater than or equal to 8/5. This one says that x has to be greater than 8/5. Since both conditions must be true, what that means is I'm only allowed to use values of x that are more than 8/5, which means I'm not allowed to keep this bracket. So now my new answer turns into parenthesis 8/5, comma, infinity. This is my final answer for the domain of this particular function.